Hello Tubesters, it's Gav. Welcome to another one of my videos. Today we are looking at, well, we're not looking at, this is the first part in a series of painting I'm doing on this bust. It's the USMC, so United States Marine Corps 1st Division, Guadalcanal 1942, and it's a life miniatures bust. It's resin. I've done an unboxing on the channel already. I'm not sure if I've done a preview of it primed up. I believe I did. I'm not 100%. So it's not perfect. I've tried painting under with the tripod. I've got one of these, tripods. It's fine for doing unboxings. It's fine for doing standard show and tell stuff. But trying to paint, it's not happening because the camera goes over my painting lamp and all that, and it's not. I do this for me most of all. I get enjoyment out of this. Helps my mental health and all the rest of it. So I'm sorry I can't paint this under the lamp. I've tried. So what I'm doing is taking a few photographs, putting the little mini tripod up and saying this is what I've done. Not a load yet. For this episode, it's just looking at doing a sketch. So I'm putting shadows or mid-tone, shadows of varying darkness, if that's a word, and brightness for highlights. So I'm saying so a lot. I don't like saying so I think I'm transitioning to so. That's what you're going to get on this episode. It finishes fairly abruptly because I wasn't sure I was going to upload this straight away, but I think I will if I can keep them short, if not sweet. People can look at them and go, oh yeah, nice, and crack on with their day. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look. I know bust painting or display figure painting is not everybody's cup of tea, but I enjoy it. So stick with this if you can. I don't know how long it's going to take to paint. I'm out of my commission at the moment, so I've got some time to myself, and I want to push on with this because I don't do enough of the stuff that I like to do, which is the busts and that, and I won't get better if I don't get some under my belt. So let's get this one done. No speeders, so no speed painting. I've just got a bit more time, to get it done. So let's get down to the Solomon Islands, to Guadalcanal, and let's slot through the jungle, the mangrove swamps, I can't remember what plantations they've got now. Is it sugar cane? Palm oil, I believe. It was the main thing there. And let's sit through the eyes of this guy, United States Marine Corps, 1st Division, Guadalcanal. Much respect. Painting this, I usually put a tribute to my stuff. Painting this as a tribute to the 1st Division on Guadalcanal, and also to a fellow tubester called Kenny, and his grandfather, and that's from the Hobby Link International channel. His grandfather served in 1st Marine Corps, 1st Marine Corps Division on Guadalcanal, and later other Pacific islands as well. I don't know the gentleman's name, but this is dedicated to him as well as an individual. Right, see you on the next one. Right, Tubesters, I just wanted to shoot these little segments of videos and piece them together with photographs. I'm using orange tan. Where are we, Gav? There we go, orange tan. Sorry, it's rubbed away. I'll have to write on that one as well. They do rub off really quickly, these labels on the AKs. I couldn't, is that 1409? But orange tan, again, doesn't have to be AK if you don't want it. It can be any orange tan. I've gone for that as an overall paint. It's very thin, as you can see. I'll do what I did before. You'll have to excuse my grubby fingers. I have tried to set the camera up on its tripod. I can do it for models and unboxings and things like that. This is on the larger tripod, this one's on a small tripod. But I've tried and I just can't get the light for painting properly because it covers everything off. So see how thin that paint is? That, as you can see, there's areas showing through the figure, and let me just quickly wash that off. We don't want dried paint on the brush. If I can find Where's my water? Right. We do not want thick paint on, and also sometimes you'll know that there's little bits in the paint. I use a bit of a cocktail stick and I just pick those off, not scrape it, because obviously you're scraping down to the bare resin. I tease it with a paintbrush first. If it'll come off with a paintbrush, great. Sometimes it's just in there and you can't do much about it, but I'm not very good at cleaning my figures up. It's something I've got to be better at, and it's just something that I'd advise you. Keep your figures clean. This one goes in a drawer when it's not being painted. But if you see little bits in the paint, don't think they'll disappear under layers of others, especially if you're using thin paint like myself. They won't, and they will come up on photographs and that afterwards. Sometimes you can disguise them, especially this guy's going to have a lot of scratches and scars and things after being in the Solomons in Guadalcanal. So yeah, I'm going to be doing at least another coat of the same paint on top. Maybe another one, I'm not sure, but that'll give me a whole, like, I suppose you could say, mid-tone to work with. And then we'll go into what we're doing here at the moment, I should say, is painting a sketch. So I will have a mid-tone of colour over, and then I'm going to put shadow areas in and lighter areas around the face, and it's a bit hard to explain if you haven't seen it. You can see there's loads of books out there. I can't, if you go back through my videos, I don't know which one it was, it'll be in my unboxings and reviews playlist. I did the AK figure painting book. I can't remember the exact name, it's actually behind me somewhere. There's loads of things like that out there. There's loads of online places to go and study, to look at, and obviously there's people, these big figure painters, they obviously do classes as well if you can get to them and afford them and whatever. I've never done one. I just work from what I see on the internet and work my way out how to paint. So again, Gav's method here is we're doing an orange tan over the whole flesh tones area. It's as thin as you've just shown me paint, as I've just shown you paint on my nail, and it's probably going to take 2 coats. I don't want to overdo it, because that's why I've got some different shadow areas I've painted in primer colours to show through slightly and show me where I want to go. So maybe one more coat, might need a third, we'll see. Right guys, I said a couple of coats, it actually took about 4 but that's not a problem. As I say, you don't do it, it's not a speed race, you just do it for your own time. As I keep saying, there are loads of ways to paint figures. You do yours how you want. I'm sorry if this is wavering about a bit and you can hear my Pop Archie clip-clopping around. I just wanted to, I've got literally the tripod on the edge of the table. I'd forgot to tell you what basic brush I'm using. Get the words out, Gav. So this is a Rosemary & Co. sable brush. Yeah, it is a sable brush, I believe. Yeah, it is Kolinsky sable, and it's a size 3. And I will use that for doing all the shadow areas on the figure itself. You know, I've done it for this obviously base layer. I shall do it in all the shadows and the highlights. And for a good part of it, I mean, you can get away because you're only painting with the, can we see that? Right, you're only painting with the tip. If you're getting paint more than a third of the way up the brush, you're probably putting way too much on than you need, and it'll go on like butter. So you only really literally need, you know, a quarter maximum, you know, for on that brush tip going up the brush, because as I've said to you guys before, I've got a piece of tissue. You can see all that there. That's me. As I've put my paint out the wet palette, I'll give it a brush off there, taking the excess paint off before I apply it to the figure. So as you can see, I've been doing a fair bit of that, because otherwise you'll have like pear-shaped blobs of paint. You'll be putting too much paint in one area than another. So always wipe the excess paint off. You're not dry brushing, it's something you'll just have to learn, but you'll just gently wipe off the, you know, a paint. I might try and show you next time I do something. I'll try and rig the camera up on this little tripod and just show you wiping off. I've done it before, to be honest with you. As I say, it's It's not rocket science, but yeah. There we go. So that's that. We'll be putting some shadows in next. Right, guys. As you can see, total carnage on the figure. He looks like he's been in action already, or he's got some zombie type disease. What I've done here is obviously put some shadows in. The helmet, as I say, comes on and off. I keep him on, the helmet on, when I'm doing, say, shadow and light work for the moment, just so I know where I'm going. No, it won't go back on again. But so let's have a quick go through the colours. The shadow areas were AK Hull Brown, which is like a reddy brown. That's like a medium shadow, and that went obviously in all the shadow areas. You can more or less see where it's gone. The darkest areas I then put on some dark rust, obviously a bit darker, a bit colder, and not a lot of it, but you can just see it in and out the deepest shadows. And I use some of the shadow flesh from AK, which is like as you can see, it's like more like a reddy colour, but that was like a lighter shadows. So what's going to happen next is I'm going to put some highlights on at the highest points, and then really it's then the laborious task of merging it all together. So hopefully it won't look as naff as it does at the moment. That's a hope, and we can live in hope. So yeah, we're going to put some highlights on now, and again, as I said, the whole idea of this sketch is it's showing you roughly where and you can always change them, but it's showing you roughly where you want to go with your shadow areas. So our darkest shadow areas are around we've got them under the dog tags here. Also as well, we're trying to show where the blood vessels are a lot. I'm no expert, and I will do it to my own taste, to be honest with you, but I try and do it like I see the box art painters, how they explain it, and I put my more red tones up in there in the cheeks and that, and on the neck area there, where the fleshy bits are, where the major veins are, really, I suppose. I'd say that's not, if you go to other professional painters, they'll be able to obviously point you in the right direction a lot better. This is just my way of doing it, but it's just a record, really. You can dip into it or not, or reject it all. That's up to you. So yeah, onto the highlights now. Right, guys, more filming at the edge of the table. Not a lot of highlights on this at the moment, because, well, not at the moment. I'm thinking of keeping it fairly dark. I'm not going on the artwork. That's somebody else's rendition of it. That's what they wanted to see out of it. So I've got the sunny skin tone, and I've just about seen me put it around there. It doesn't matter if this is blocky. You're not trying to blend this in at the moment. You're really just trying to sort out where you want to put different highlights and shadows. And then literally on this figure, I like to put some dark sand in as a quite a glowing highlight. But there's literally, let me just turn him around. Literally tip of the nose on the collarbones here. A couple of other small places, but not a lot. So now we have the task of trying to merge all this together. Now there'll be bits that I've probably gone over the top with. The red on the cheek here, it looks a bit much here and underneath, but it is in shadow. Maybe I could have used one of the darker shadows rather than this reddy tone. We'll see when we come to start blending in the colours. Using a lot of stippling, I think, on this one. We'll just see how that goes. As I say, never be afraid to stuff up says a guy who's always terrified when he's making his models because I always stuff up. But when it comes to painting, all I can say is if you don't give it a go, you won't improve. So this could be a complete disaster, and I'm filming it all, and you'll see it as a complete disaster. Or it might look all right. It's definitely not going to look like the box art, because the box art painters are at the top of the tree, you know. Gav is more like grubbing around in the roots. So, you know, don't expect some type of award-winning paint job, because it's not going to happen. It'll just, as I say, I just really enjoy it, and hopefully, I'm not saying each one you improve, because just like everything else, sometimes you take a step back with a different, each figure, that's what I love about these busts, each one's different to a degree, you know. I mean, I've got a Waffen SS World War II bust to do, I've got a mini bust of a Napoleonic general to do as well, which I haven't unboxed yet. I've had that probably about 6 months or more. Yeah, each one's different, and sometimes it all comes together, the stars all align, and you just think, that's not too bad. I didn't think that Marine in Vietnam bust with the blooper, I didn't think he ended up coming too bad in the end. This one I might fall on my face, but you know, you just get up again and try again, don't you? So yeah, please don't look at that and think, oh my life, if I have to do that, as in you, how am I going to make it look better? And also this might not be a way you want to paint. I mean, obviously do your own thing, but yeah, hopefully I'm going to show you bits that I've done, and it might encourage you to have a go.